many others, were not informed by any staff about emotional support to deal with any stress from the pandemic. I became aware of the lack of funding for social, emotional, and mental health support for students. For years, New York City youth have called for police schools and the divestment for the School Safety Division's entire $450 million budget to relocate that money into guidance counselors, social workers, and restorative justice practices. This year, I joined that fight. It is infuriating that the City Council and Mayor are increasing funding for school safety and trying to implement under the Department of Education, transferring school police from the NYPD to the DOE. We reject this. The reality is that their proposal will only direct resources into school policing by another name. This is not what thousands of students, teachers,
When you say police free, you mean the police inside school or outside school? I'm just curious.
Specifically, we're talking about like inside school at the moment, just due to the fact that there's a lot of
This is the time.
there's a lot of like unfair policing that happens, especially to Black Indigenous people of color, and like specifically students of color, and there's a lot of like unfair treatment of those students by the police.
At school specifically.
Yeah, this is what this rally is mostly.
But who's gonna be in charge of protecting the kids then if there's no police or they don't need any protection? I mean, how's that gonna work? I'm curious.
Well, I'm not the best one to answer that, but I do. But from like my understanding, a lot of the policing just happens. It's like the way that they just treat the students is very, pushing or not pushing, but very forceful, and it treats the students like criminals and kind of enforcing this kind of idea that the students are the danger to the school, and I may not really know exactly what to implement, but we could add stuff like counseling, which can help students who might be like having outbursts in class and like might have anger issues. So it's more of a compassionate kind of approach.
But there are kids who just, too unruly. How are we going to deal with the kids who are way too unruly? Is there any way of dealing with those, or you believe that they don't exist?
Can you read that? Sorry.
Well, they're the kids that are way too unruly, to put it mildly.
Yeah.
How are we going to deal with those kids?
Well, I don't think that, at least to me, I don't really see like students as inherently like. I feel like the force of violence upon students who might be incredibly unruly isn't really the answer. As like I said, counseling might help, but even like in-school counseling, of course, might not be enough, and so we might need to be able to kind of push for a more of a way of like outside help. So like. For example, like students who might have like severe mental health issues and might result in like really bad unruly outbursts, or might just be acting out really, really badly, they might need to go to like outside help. And I think that we need to kind of focus on that rather than, oh hey, let's just basically kind of treat children like animals, because especially younger students might be unruly. I think it's bad for their development. By treating them like an animal, like they're bad kids, they might just feel like they are unsafe. And in order to, at least to me, I feel like a more compassionate approach is the best way to do that.
Compassionate. Well, but does it work all the time, compassion, or sometimes it fails, maybe?
I can't 100% say, but at least to me, violence isn't the answer.
No, of course not. The violence on the parts of the kids, neither violence on the parts of the NYPD. But the question is, where does the violence start? I mean, have you ever heard of violent
kids? It kind of starts by like, as one of the speakers just said, one of her classmates were like, after her friend threw like a paintbrush at their at another classmate, she got like body slammed, and that's not the answer to that, because it's just because even though that action was somewhat violent and unacceptable in a school environment, that like 12-year-old didn't deserve to get like body slammed by the police or like kind of like handcuffed, because even though kids do bad stuff, that doesn't inherently mean that they deserve to be treated like they are inherently a danger. Like a kid, just like a 12-year-old acting out in class and like even acting violently doesn't deserve to be treated like they're a criminal.
I see. And you believe that there...
Recording?
Why are you interfering with our conversation?
Make sure you're comfortable being recorded.
Of course he is.
I'm not. I would not like you to record me, please.
Oh, that's fine. Do you mind talking to me? Because I say you're protesting
I prefer
here.
not to. I
You
want
were-
to listen to the speakers if that's
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
But it wasn't kind of nice interfering, in the
I
conversation.
understand. I just want to make sure that it's...
Well, yeah, but it's kind of none of your business between you and me,
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Of course it's okay.
I just.
I'm just asking very simple, basic questions. It's like you're protesting.
No, I do not. Thank you.
I think we don't want to talk anymore. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Yeah,
I bet you can learn a lot by listening to the speakers also.
no problem.
Cause who outside? Who outside? Who outside? Who outside? Who outside? We outside. Who's scared? Who's scared? Who's scared? Who's scared? Who's sitting? Who's parked? Who's
Sorry.
This is all for us, so we need all the youth to the front, please. All the youth to the front with the banners, please. Thank you. Go with them. Please listen to the people with their vests on. We're trying to ensure our safety. I need y'all to be loud. I need energy. If I gotta lose my voice by the end of the day, so do you. So who outside? Who outside? Who outside? Who outside? That's what do we want? And when do we want it? What do we want? And when do we want it? And we don't get it.
Shut it down!
And we don't get it.
Shut it down!
And we don't get it.
Shut it down!
I said if we don't get it.
Shut it down!
Cause what do we want?
Justice!
And when do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Get it! Shut it
Yes, I saw that. Yes.